Now, even if things have changed dramatically also in uber conservative Italy, still I would say the spirit of Carnival is here. So if you come here in Italy, come this time of the year, you would see there's something different. In shop windows, pastry shops, you will find all these fritters. Carnival is synonymous with fritters. And I would say two types of fritters. One is a kind of choux dough, which is fried, deep fried, and you end up having this lovely, crunchy, soft, custardy balls. Sometimes pine nuts, sultanas inside. Sometimes they're made with cold rice pudding, sometimes with ricotta. And then there's another type of Carnival fritters, which are totally different. They're kind of very crisp, sort of pasta dough, slightly rich and deep fried. This is what we're going to make now. This is a slightly enriched pasta dough, the same one you would make when you want to make tagliatelle or lasagne. Slightly rich, so there's a little bit of sugar, butter, some spirit, but not much, which is rolled very thinly and then deep fried. Now, this doesn't claim to be a wow dessert. It's not the cheesecake. It's something. It's whimsical. It's it's nice. It's lovely crunch, barely sweetened. Odd enough, you end up eating quite a lot of these. These fritters have different names in Italy. In Lombardy, where I come from, they're called chiacchiere, which means basically gossips, chatting. In Veneto, they're called bugie, which means lies. In Tuscany, they're called cenci, rugs, but it's the same idea. More or less is the same recipe, just with different names. Now, the recipe for our chiacchiere, these Carnival fritters, is on my blog, which is www.italianhomecooking.co.uk. However, we are making them now. Because basically we're making pasta dough, you need a food processor. Well, no, not you need. I prefer making pasta dough in a food processor because it's easier on my hand and I think it's more efficient. But of course, you can also make it by hand like grannies used to do. This is my flour with salt and baking powder. Goes in the food processor, and we want to give it a whisk just to mix it. I'm adding now some butter, cold butter, doesn't matter. Then whisk it up. I'm adding now some sugar with orange zest for flavor. And again, same drill. Okay, now it's time to add the wet ingredients to make our dough. And we have egg with a little bit of vanilla, white wine, and milk. I'm using white wine. It could be vodka, it could be masala, it could be, in some recipe, I even seen vinegar. Doesn't really matter. Also because it's quite little. And I'm adding all the ingredients like so. So this egg with vanilla. And I will whisk it until you see the beginning of a dough forming. And then I sort of pinch it to see it's coming together. And this is what you're looking for, sort of soft but not sticky. And now I'm going to transfer it on the counter and give it very light kneading with my hands, so it comes together nicely. Okay, so now you want to gather all the crumbs and give it a very, well, I say very light, actually it's not, you want to give it a knead too. bring it together. And then this has to rest for 1 hour, possibly well covered for sure in a kind of warmish spot, and then we can roll it. Okay, so now I will cover in cling film and this will rest. So this is our dough. It has rested for 1 hour and now we are going to roll it. I cut in half for sake of convenience. Always keep what you're not using well covered. Basically we are making pasta dough, even if then we add orange and butter, but this is pasta dough. This is a pasta machine, and in Italy this machine is sometimes called, in kind of family talking, nonna papera, which is the Walt Disney's grandmother duck. Don't know the reason. Anyway, lightly flour your counter. You can start pressing the dough like so, because you have to pass it through the rolls. So basically we have to roll it using every single notch. The first roll is never perfect and you have to roll the pasta over itself. Fold it, and if it sticks too much, add some flour. This seems to be okay now. And we roll it again. This is mimicking, by the way, we are rolling the pasta through every single notch because it's almost like mimicking the hand rolling with mattarella, the rolling pin. You have to repeat this. It's a tad boring in the beginning, but you have to do it. So you have to repeat this kind of folding over a few times. Sometimes you can flatten it with your fingers. And now I will fold it in half. So before we fold it like so, letter-wise, we did that a few times, and now it's been done a few times, so you can fold it just like so. You can use your bench scraper to okay, so first notch done, we can pass on the other notch. And I will do the folding letter-wise again. Basically, every time we go down one notch, the roller here gets thinner, hence the pasta gets thinner. For this Carnival fritters, this has to be transparently thin. So we will go down in this model of pasta maker to the last of the one before the last notch. But it's to be super thin, and then you will see what I mean. One notch down. I put just a little bit of flour because it's sort of sticking a little bit. And I'm folding in half. There's no real kind of rules. You know, you want the pasta to get thinner and thinner, and you do have to do the folding a few times, especially in the beginning, the first 2-3 notches. And then you can be a little bit easier. Okay, getting there. Oops. So it's getting there, but still not as thin as we want it. I cut this just to make a slightly even piece. Okay, I'm getting there. And I think we can stop here. This is the thickness you want. And now we have to cut it into shapes. We are cutting now into shapes. I would say think of a playing card size, something similar. And generally you make 2 cuts here. So when you fry it, this will puff up and they will, the fritter will take a nice shape. And many shapes. Sometimes people do just this, but I think it's less interesting, so I always try to give a cut. But for me, this would be, and this is a good size. And we are deep frying them. I'm using a small pot because I think it's more convenient. I'm using peanut oil. Any vegetable oil with a good smoking point is fine, even if we will be frying at about 170 Celsius. And for deep frying, I think a probe is pretty essential. It really makes the best frying because you exactly know when to chop a food. The oil is heating up and I'm preparing my frying station. Deep frying is always something, so open your windows. Yes, the house will steam. You kind of skip that, but you will cover. You need a rack. So as soon as you remove the food from the frying, you put it here to lose some of the oil. I will put something underneath now, some paper, and then we transfer the food onto this with some kitchen paper. And then if you have lots of things to fry, you can keep them warm in a very low oven with the door ajar. Not closed, ajar, so that it doesn't create steam. Okay, we can now start frying. It reached 170. It's literally a matter of seconds. You dip in and out. They shouldn't take too much color, otherwise, because that's the thing, they will become too brittle. Okay, so careful, because of course this is super dangerous. You see they puff up. You see, look. And that's a combination of baking powder, folding the dough over a few times, so with some air in between layers, and resting the dough. However, we also tried unresting the dough, i.e. no rest, and it does work. So it's up to you. Good to know. You have to concentrate and be careful when you deep fry because it's very dangerous. And also, if you do it properly, the food is greasy. So don't fry too much. I would say one at a time. It takes much less than you think. You go into a rhythm. I can whip up a batch of this in I wouldn't say no time, but it's much, much quicker than you think. I prefer to fry in a small pot because I think it gives me more control on the process. This is 1 liter of oil in this small pot. In your books, you see deep fry. They say you should use much more oil in a bigger pan. Yes, but the price of vegetable oil, at least here in Italy, has gone up a lot. And also, if you use more oil in a bigger pan, it's much more difficult to check the temperature and to keep the right temperature. Here, you can control it more easily, so to speak. And it's important that you kind of you keep it submerged. That's why I also splash oil over it. I repeat, sorry I'm boring, being super careful, because if you burn with oil like this, it's super nasty. I can smell orange, which is nice. It takes some time, you go into a rhythm, but then it takes some time also to understand the color. It's really up to you. I wouldn't go much darker than this, because then they're so thin they become really brittle. Again, up to you. I'm putting a little bit of icing sugar, not much. In Italy, they have a tendency to put far too much icing sugar for my taste. Here is brown stick. Okay. I want to show you, please, can you hear that? See how light they are? With a little of icing, they're really nice.